Imagine wanting to be in Forbes so bad that you hire people to pitch you as the most under-the-radar billionaire philanthropist and lie to have $10 billion in assets by presenting your parents' and other people's properties as your own, only to be caught in a lie. This is the story of Calvin Lowe. Welcome to Conrad's Deal Table. Call me Conrad. Forbes, a global media company focusing on business, investing, technology, entrepreneurship, leadership, and lifestyle. This story begins in Seattle, where an American businessman named Robert Lee founded what later became R.E. Lee International. Robert had started working in insurance industry in 1954. He then hired Regina Lee, Calvin Lowe's mother, who was the first salesperson in the region. Regina played a key role in expanding the firm, which was the first in Asia to sell life insurance to super-rich people. Calvin Lowe is Regina and Francis's only child, was born in Vancouver, but spent his first 9 years in Hong Kong before returning to Canada, where he later attended Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario. He went back to Hong Kong in 1999 and began working with his mom at R.E. Lee International, rising to managing director in 2003 and eventually becoming CEO. So, how did Calvin Lowe end up being called out by Forbes for faking his alleged billionaire status? You might be wondering, why would people try to lie their way to be on Forbes' billionaire list, and why is it important? 1. Status and prestige. 2. Publicity and recognition. 3. Business and investment opportunities. Billionaires often have access to exclusive networks and investment opportunities. 4. Influence and power. Wealth often translates into influence and power, allowing billionaires to shape policies, support charitable causes, and influence global trends. Being on the Forbes list can amplify one's voice and impact in philanthropy, politics, and social initiatives. 5. Personal satisfaction and validation. 6. Competitive drive. The pursuit of wealth and recognition can be driven by a competitive spirit and a desire to surpass peers or rivals in the business world. Being listed among the wealthiest individuals globally serves as a benchmark of success and achievement. For Calvin Lowe, we may never know why and what was his intention, but it could be one of those. It all started when Calvin Lowe first welcomed an editor from Forbes on September 2022 into his family's life insurance brokerage firm, R.E. Lee International office in Hong Kong. According to the Forbes editor, Calvin Lowe dressed immaculately in a three-piece suit with a tie and matching pocket square. Mr. Calvin sat in his conference room, richly decorated with ornate wood paneling. He had summoned him to discuss Forbes' billionaires list. Calvin Lowe, who is the CEO of R.E. Lee International, said he was curious to how billionaires in Asia viewed the rankings. He said he was caught in a dilemma as to whether he should provide Forbes with additional documentation of his wealth so that he could be included on the billionaires list. He said that some of the older generation billionaires had been encouraging him to get on the list, telling him, and I quote, "You've been very fortunate, doing very well," allegedly. So he thought inclusion could be good for his primary business, selling insurance to, and I quote, "ultra-high net worth individuals. That's exactly our target market," he added. The reality was that the dilemma was all an act. After further investigation by Forbes, it was found he had spent more than 2 years trying to bluff his way onto the billionaires list. Since 2020, at least 7 people have reached out to 11 different Forbes reporters on more than 20 occasions. They pitched him as the most under-the-radar billionaire philanthropist and as the most private and elusive billionaire investor in the world. They sent more than a dozen documents, some stamped private and confidential, which supposedly vouched for his reputation and wealth. Forbes didn't take it seriously because at first glance Calvin just didn't seem rich enough. And not only that, R.E. Lee International was not well known in Hong Kong. Making billions from reselling insurance policies from a company that's not well known seemed far-fetched. As time went on, a slew of media outlets including the BBC, CNBC, the Daily Express, the Daily Mirror, the Financial Times, and others published stories calling Calvin Lowe a billionaire, showcasing his views on everything from champagne to crypto.
For you personally, you've been linked to investments in hotels and F1. Is crypto and the metaverse a space that you would invest in personally?
No. Maybe it's something that I should look into it a little bit more.
Many of these stories cited Forbes as a source, and one of Calvin Lowe, publicists sent emails claiming he was on the Forbes billionaires list. An article had even run on the website of Forbes Middle East upon investigation. That article turned out to be a paid advertorial from Calvin's team. Forbes didn't take it lightly because Calvin's team were lying using that advertorial article, hence it was taken down. Calvin Lowe had never been on the Forbes list, as Forbes made it clear in their article published July 26, 2023. This led to Forbes launching a nearly year-long investigation during which Forbes spoke with at least 40 people in 6 countries and dug through hundreds of pages of documents diligently separating Calvin Lowe truths and lies. During investigation, Forbes found the 7 people who had reached out to Forbes to pitch him. They had presented him to Forbes as the CEO and owner of R.E. Lee International, the world's largest life insurance broker, with around $1 billion in premiums, and the founder of R.E. Lee Capital, an asset manager with between $8 billion and $10 billion in assets. He was described as a Harvard-educated investor who paid $1.2 billion in 2018 through his personal investment vehicle, R.E. Lee Octagon, to buy the 5-star Mandarin Oriental Hotel in Taipei, Taiwan, a philanthropist who set up a $250 million charitable foundation, and the owner of a half-dozen homes around the world. He was also said to be Asia's largest investor and collector of champagnes and one of the first owners of a Gulfstream G650 private jet in Asia. It was also said he was also an investor in the legendary Williams Formula One racing team. Most of these claims could not be confirmed. Others were flat-out lies. He didn't have a stake in the F1 racing team. He didn't own the Mandarin Oriental Taipei. His homes, based on addresses he presented, belonged to his parents and to other people. Harvard Business School has no record of anyone named Calvin Lowe graduating. Neither his charitable foundation nor R.E. Lee Octagon appears to exist. R.E. Lee Capital also confirmed it does not have anywhere close to the supposed $8 billion to $10 billion in assets under management. Forbes estimates that the company is worth around $60 million. Calvin Lowe had also boasted about owning a Pagani Huayra BC and other rare supercars. Forbes did find a photo of him standing next to a Pagani Huayra Tempesta. The photo was reportedly snapped by an unnamed reader of Hong Kong-based Ming Pao Weekly magazine, and it ran in 2018 in Ming Pao, Entrepreneur and Money Digest. But Forbes also found the exact same photo without Lowe, which was taken by Robin Adams for a Sotheby's auction in 2017. The photographer told Forbes that the picture had obviously been altered and used without permission. That car sold to an anonymous bidder for $2.4 million. Calvin Lowe did in fact graduate from Queen's University in 1999, as he said, but could not verify his Harvard Business School claim. Searches of both the National Student Clearinghouse, which verifies degrees, and the Harvard Alumni Database turned up empty. Harvard also confirmed it had no record of an HBS degree holder with that name. Also, Lowe's champagne collection was reportedly worth an absurdly high $250 million. We don't know how true that is because it was not proven to be true, or a lie. According to the judge overseeing Calvin's 2014 divorce from his wife, Emily, whom Calvin married in 2006, the couple spent well beyond their means. Regina started funding their lavish lifestyle, and Calvin also had to borrow money from Regina. He was being groomed by his mother into a high-flying investment broker with a lifestyle which he clearly could not afford with his salary, the judge concluded. According to the proceedings, Regina gave him roughly $308,000 that he used to buy a Lamborghini in 2004, and an estimated $1.2 million, which he used to decorate his Singapore apartment in 2005. Mom even paid for his expensive wardrobe. The judge concluded that Mr. Calvin net worth at the time was about $3.6 million. Emily, Calvin Lowe ex-wife who died of cancer in 2020 at age 40, attacked Lowe credibility. She accused him of lying about his education, his work experience, even his age. After Forbes informed Lowe he hadn't make it to the 2023 billionaires list, he didn't stop. 3 weeks after, one of his publicists offered to set up an interview with Forbes to discuss his F1 ambitions. And, A few weeks after that, he reached out again with an offer to discuss the expansion of his insurance businesses across Europe, Forbes said. Forbes then shared their findings with Lowe, including the fact that he is not a billionaire. He then claimed to have lost interest, and I quote, "Mr. Lowe expresses his preference to be excluded from the wealth rankings published by Forbes," wrote his PR representative to Forbes. Furthermore, he would like to make it clear that he does not wish to be written about in Forbes. Of course, he ended up on Forbes, but not as how he wished. The tricky part for Forbes was figuring out who actually owns the firm. Lowe's mother, Regina Lee, bought out the firm, which she helped build in 2015. She may have given it to her son. There's no doubt his family is wealthy, but they're nowhere near as rich as he suggested. Altogether, Forbes estimated that Lowe and his parents are worth less than $200 million combined. This story was talked about a lot when Forbes published the article. His reputation might have been impacted. Calvin Lowe is not the first person to try to get on billionaires' list by lying, and actually he won't be the last. And that's it from Conrad's Deal Table. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next video.